On what date was New Zealand Trade and Enterprise first informed that there were high losses of lambs born on the model farm in the Saudi Arabian desert? And on what date did it inform the Ministry for Primary Industries and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade?
Honourable Tim Groser.
Mr Speaker, I am advised that New Zealand Trade and Enterprise and the Ministry of Primary Industries were told of significant losses on 9 December. The Minister of Foreign Affairs was informed on 10 December 2014.
What? That long ago? Supplementary.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
Answer that properly. Why did New Zealand Trade and Enterprise yesterday say the welfare and treatment of the lambs at the model farm in Saudi Arabia is not its responsibility, given that the government is still asserting that the reason it spent over $6 million on the model farm, plus $1 million flying the sheep on Singapore Airlines, is to showcase New Zealand's agricultural expertise?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Tim Groser.
Well, the comment was made because it is correct. It is not their responsibility, which doesn't mean to say that they're not concerned about the implications of it, which is precisely why they sent up experts 4 days later to Saudi to help Al Khalaf Group deal with the issues. So I think they showed an entirely responsible attitude.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
Is the reason the Minister for Primary Industries was blindsided by this news yesterday and said at Select Committee today the lambs may have died in a sandstorm? Oh, what? Because neither MFAT nor NZTE properly informed the Minister for Primary Industries about this debacle?
The Honourable Tim Groser.
Mr Speaker, I do not know precisely what the circumstances of it are, and nor would any minister, because these are operational matters. We're informed of the broad nature of the agreement, and it's up to the people who are responsible for detailed matters. It is not the responsibility of the Minister of Primary Industry to be hot-footing it up to a Saudi farm to find out precisely what happened.
Go!
Order. Order.
Well, given that the Minister for Primary Industries...
I haven't yet called the member.
Supplementary, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, the Honourable
Well, given that the Minister for Primary Industries has hot-footed it up to there, when will he release the report on why some 70% of the lambs died and show whether it was due to starvation, scours or a sandstorm?
The Honourable Tim Groser.
Mr Speaker, we could debate the terms of this hot-footing. I think the Minister has visited the Saudi farm, but it was not to give veterinary advice to the Saudis. As far as the report is concerned, actually I'm not advised where that report stands and whether or not it's commercially confidential.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
Why has the government spent millions on a farm in a desert on the other side of the world where the vast majority of the New Zealand lambs have died?
Mr. Speaker.
Order. Order. Honourable Tim Groser. Order. Order. Now, the question's been asked. The Minister now is requiring to answer it, and if that sort of interjection carries on, it's very difficult to do so. Honourable Tim Groser.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Let us be very clear about this. The New Zealand lambs are the breeding stock we exported, consistent with the tens of thousands of breeding stock that both the previous Labour-led government and this government have seen on their watch. What happens to the progeny and successive generations of those breeding stock is not a matter of responsibility of the New Zealand government, and it would be literally absurd to suggest that it was. But this does not matter to the underlying point, that if people ask for our assistance, we will always consider it in a positive and humane way.
Supplementary, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
Isn't this latest twist in this bizarre and sad waste of millions of taxpayers' dollars further proof that the real purpose was to buy the cooperation of the Al Khalaf Group, who were, according to Mr McCulley's own cabinet paper, obstructing the Saudi adoption of the Gulf Free Trade Agreement.
That's right.
The Honourable Tim Groser.
Mr. Speaker, the objective of this is to test out a new model for the export of our agribusiness. And yes, it has had these problems. I'm also being advised this morning that a second mating has been achieved, which has gone extremely well. So it's a little bit early to call this a failure at this stage.